Y'all are worried about the wrong thing with these Republicans trying to bully their way into getting all of these seats. Everybody's saying, oh, they're worried they're going to lose the midterms. They're worried they're going to lose the midterms. No, they're not worried that they're going to lose the midterms. If they were just worried about losing the midterms, why in the world are they trying to just take away singular seats in some of these states, like South Carolina, right? Why are they worried about this one seat? This is a very red state. I highly doubt any of those other red seats are going to switch. You want to know why they're so worried? Because it's their true goal. You know what their true goal is? Their true goal is a 2/3 majority. And do you know what happens when you have a 2/3 majority in Congress? You can change the Constitution. That's their true goal. It's not about losing the midterms. They're not worried about that at all. They are worried that their plan to get a 2/3 majority in Congress, that's why they're pushing so hard for this. That's why they seem to be penny pitching every single seat that they can possibly get, because they need a 2/3 majority to change the Constitution. That's what we should really be worried about. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. They're just saying, oh, they're just worried that they're going to. No, they're not worried about just losing. They're worried that they're not going to be able to enact their plan to change the Constitution.
And I never thought about it like that, like them getting the majority changing the Constitution. Of course, the first thing they would change was Trump being able to stay in office as long as he wants to. But imagine what they would change about Black Americans. They would start targeting us, trying to put us back in chains, doing everything they can, you know what I mean, to roll back all of the progress that we made over all these years. So, and I've never heard anybody talk about that part. So I'm happy that I put that clip in there. And, if you know what's going on or have any theories on what's going on, you let me know in the comment section. But let's get to the next one.
So I've been seeing a certain comment a lot on my feed lately. Basically that Trump is using insert crisis here to declare martial law and cancel the midterms. And I gotta say, I highly doubt that that's going to happen. Not necessarily because it's unrealistic, and definitely not out of a sense that, Trump wants integrity in his elections. But no, for the simple reason that he doesn't have to. Let me explain. You see, throughout history, contrary to popular belief, most dictators and autocracies still have elections. They do this because canceling elections can kill their legitimacy. It can get rid of the one argument that they have to keep the peace and keep themselves in power, that the people still want me here, whether it's true or not. For example, even Saddam Hussein in Iraq had elections. No, instead, they rigged them to the point where it's impossible for them to lose. And while there are plenty of ways that Trump can rig the election, there's one way that is extremely easy for him to implement that I'm almost entirely sure that we're going to see it in November. You see, instead of declaring martial law and canceling the elections, something that would definitely cause riots, he can claim that there's massive voter fraud in our elections, or massive evidence of voter fraud in our elections. And because of that, he's going to send ICE agents at every single polling station to make sure no fraud happens. ICE agents stationed at every single polling station alone could be enough to sway the midterms in his favor, or any election in his favor for that matter. And the reason is simple. The fact that ICE agents would be at those polling stations alone means that millions of brown people are just going to stay home for fear of being detained. Maybe hundreds of thousands of black people too. And then to top it all off, ICE agents can just randomly choose people to detain anyway and take them out the line. They can just target anyone that they think will vote Democrat and say that they are suspicious and take them out the line and detain them. You see what I mean? He doesn't have to cancel elections. He just needs to have ICE agents take people out the line that would vote Democrat. Rigging the elections and having armed men at polling stations to intimidate people is a trick as old as time when it comes to autocrats in elections. Long story short, stop looking for martial law and canceling elections, because he doesn't have to do that. Have a great day.
Do you people wonder why Trump doesn't seem worried about the midterms? I tell you why, because he's smart, bro. Let me tell you the game. Now keep in mind, this is a country boy's way of explaining this shit to all you common folks so that you can understand and I can understand. So he realized, him and his team, that the Democratic gerrymandering shit is all based on race. They filed a lawsuit, sent it to the Supreme Court. Guess what? That's unconstitutional. Illegal is what that means. So all their gerrymandering shit gone. What that means? They lose like 30 seats in the House, which means we keep the House red. That's some gangster shit. You cannot gerrymander sections of counties because of race. So now the Dems are losing all kind of seats. They're gonna lose like 30 seats. So he ain't worried about winning the midterms because we already won that shit. The Supreme Court says so, baby. Y'all think Trump's out here willy-nilly being a dumbass? I'm telling you, the man has a plan, always. You can't be a CEO for 50-some years and not have a fucking plan all the time, bro. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. And you people that have never owned a business, you're W-2 employees, you work at fucking Starbucks or whatever, you can't comprehend the type of shit that someone in that position, even before he became president, deals with on a daily basis and the shit they have to solve. It's immense. Trust me, as a business owner of many, many businesses, I've built many, many businesses over the last 30 years. You can't even fathom what your boss is going through, let alone what somebody like Trump has to deal with on a 24-hour daily basis. That's why the man don't sleep. Ain't got time, but we win. Gotcha, bitches. This is what happens when you try to break all the rules and cheat and lie and steal and do all this stuff. It comes back to haunt your ass. You can't get away with shit, ever. Maybe for a minute, but not forever. Peace.
What a fucking loser. Dude thinks that Trump has his best interest in fucking mind. But I don't even think it's that. I just think they're happy about the racism that he's imposing on minority groups. You know what I mean? It's not even about healthcare. It's not even about financial situations for them. It's all about racism. Fucking losers. Fucking chuds. But let's keep going.
Donald Trump just announced that he's sending an election integrity army into every single state for the midterms, but surprisingly, that's not even the most shocking part of his announcement. In his late night Truth Social rant, he accidentally admitted to cheating in the 2024 presidential election. His post says, "During my historic election in 2024, when I won every single swing state and decisively won both the electoral and popular votes by wide margins, wrong. The Republicans had an election integrity army in every single state to preserve the sanctity of each legal vote. We will be doing the same thing in 2026, but it will be much bigger and stronger." Not only does this all but confirm Republican interference in the 2024 election, it renews concerns that Trump is planning to find an excuse to declare martial law in October in order to manipulate the electoral process in favor of Republicans. Mind you, this comes less than a week after he said this.
And this way, when I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself.
It's insane to me how these people can gerrymander the maps. They can control Congress. They can control the courts. They can control the entire federal government. Not only do they control the federal government, they routinely stop Democrats from being able to function effectively in our supposed democracy right now. And yet with all of that, they still push this lie that illegal immigrants are voting in these federal elections. And this man in the White House is still insanely paranoid about elections functioning and him and the people around him potentially losing their seats. What is this fear and where does it come from? Because I'm telling you, folks, when you feel like you are actually in control, when you feel like you are actually winning, when you feel like you are actually superior, when you feel like you actually hold all the cards, as the president likes to say, you do not go to these great lengths in order to keep any sort of opposition from standing up against you. If these policies are so popular, if this economy is going so well, if gas is really going down, If the stock market is at 50,000 and the S&P is at 7,000 and everybody truly believes this is the golden age of America, this golden age that we are supposedly living in right now, what is the fear and the paranoia surrounding these elections? Why do they still feel like they need to take more measures in order to control the people and their voices? Ladies and gentlemen, so many people have been talking about how they feel like there's nowhere to go from here and there's nothing that we can do. But I'm telling you, we vote. You can try to poo-poo that all you want. You can listen to the people on this app try and talk about how that's not going to matter. It does matter. We vote. Because if voting was not important, they would not be so hyper-focused on controlling it. It's very simple. You only go after something that you feel like is a major threat to you, and they feel like voting is a threat to them. Make sure you vote. Register early. Do whatever you can to ensure your ballot is counted, because they are going to try and get in the way of that.
I think it's important that we keep our eyes out for the things that's going on, and if we know the playbook, we can counteract the playbook. We can make plans to go against the playbook. Like the whole sending the ICE out to police the polls to scare us away from going to the polls. Fuck that. We'll go out there 100 deep. Fuck ICE up if they try to fuck with anybody. We getting our votes in. Whatever we got to do. But you wouldn't know to counteract these things. We couldn't start making plans to counteract these things if we didn't know about them. So that's why I made this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up, and we out.